regular programming to bring you a message from Her Majesty's government. Please stand by and await further information. This is not a drill. They have arrived.
Are you starting tonight, or do you want me to do
I
it?
can start.
Want me to finish? Let's.
It'll be a short show if you do.
Yeah, so the only two... Come on. He's fucking got that as a short as well. That's a short, being short. So the only two things that we get told is phones off, don't bash, and don't stand too far away from the microphone, isn't it?
Yep.
Are we live right now or not? Are we recording?
We just roll.
Right, you just roll it.
We just roll.
Let's do it.
So just we are now live. Mm-hmm. Don't forget Jack's name again.
Yep.
James.
Imagine that called you James. And this is James Plevin. Fuck. Oh yeah, that was the other one. You got Davies, didn't you? And he was like, I'm not fucking Welsh, mate.
That's like...
Yeah, he says if you need an electrician.
Who's that?
He's a landing geezer.
Yeah?
Right,
Davies?
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
So he said if you need a spark.
He's massive on YouTube as well,
Is he?
isn't
I don't
he's
use YouTube.
He's just started YouTube, but TikTok I think he's at about 80.
That's good.
And then Insta he's about 50, something like that.
That's good. Yeah.
He's just started his YouTube.
I feel like Instagram's the most prestigious platform.
Instagram opens doors, though.
I think it does.
But Twitter's the hardest one to get followers.
Really? Is it?
Yeah.
I've never...
done there in the skip.
Yeah.
Don't record that. I love everybody that follows us on Twitter.
Yeah.
I feel like it's good, though, because I'm like king of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You're king of Reels. You're like king of...
Nothing. Nothing. I am king of nothing.
Phoebe Promise.
You're just a legend in the game, though.
Yeah.
You've been doing this a long time, man.
The thing with you is most trades know of you.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
know what I
it.
mean?
There's respect on his name. Or someone told me something about your bags. It must have been about 2 years ago. Someone was saying, "Oh, have you heard of that PB plumber geezer?" I was thinking, who the fuck's that? And I didn't have a clue about it. So I went, "Oh no, he's done really well. We started with socials. He made bags, and now he's smashing it." And that was a couple of years ago before I even started my socials.
Oh,
I think that's why he's quite popular, because of the bags.
This is a controversial joke.
Go on.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No idea.
Oh, fucking hell.
That's too much. Too much. Was it like Remembrance Day yesterday?
That's like the fucking joke. He likes. Why did Ryan fall in love with an electrician? He wanted to take her OMH. He's a live wire.
Oh, speaking of inappropriate jokes, did you see the meme about that David Fuller, the electrician who'd been having sex with dead bodies?
Oh, that was disgusting.
He was an electrician.
Yeah, and
Yeah, he'd been going into the morgue and banging.
Yeah, I heard about the banging.
And the comment, someone put a comment on the news post, said, the first thing they taught me at college was never to work on anything live.
Oh my God. That is brutal. That is brutal.
There's always that one person that just takes it there, doesn't there? Here's another one. Did you hear about the chef that died? He passed away. What did the fish say when it swam into a wall? Damn.
That was
These
terrible.
are right up your alley, these.
That was very bad.
So anyway, let's get on, because otherwise we're not going to get to the Miller and Carter and have a steak and some food.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get podcast.
What episode is this? Oh, come on, team.
7, I think.
Not including...
How many have we got at the back?
Somebody give me a fucking number here. Leave me hanging, come on.
7.
Don't fucking look. Look.
Yeah,
Stick to your stripteasing and don't get involved now. Right, just keep texting me jokes. Right, episode 7.
Episode 7. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We're on the latest Trade Legends podcast. We've got Jack from Plevin Power.
James.
Ryan from SQ2.
Hello.
And the majority of the talking will be from, as always, Big Al.
Thank you. Thanks, Pete.
We had a complaint about you, didn't we?
We've had two
Two.
complaints, because apparently all I do is talk. I should have my own 5-minute segment like Kenny Everett, and apparently I should be left to just talk about myself for 5 minutes. So here we go.
So before we start, I was going to ask you, do you notice anything about my face?
You look a bit older, 3 weeks older.
Cheers.
I don't know. Am I supposed to notice anything about
I think
your
you're
face?
doing the same thing.
What do you mean?
You going for a Movember?
No, I'm not. I'll just look terrible as it is, mate.
So 1st of November,
Yeah.
I started just shaving the trimming
Aren't you
the rest.
supposed to
I've
get
tried-
rid of that first
Well,
and
yeah,
just
but
go
I look a
full,
bit weird, don't I?
full Hasselhoff? No, Tom Selleck. I reckon you'd look a bit Tom Selleck with yours. You know, the big caterpillar.
But I'm going for it. I didn't know if you'd notice.
No, because you're supposed to shave the rest of it. Did anyone else notice?
No,
Did you
no,
guys
no,
notice?
no.
How has this even started, this episode? Jesus Christ. Anyway, Pete's doing a Movember for everybody listening at home or watching, even though this will probably go out in December.
Oh yeah, good point.
So it'll already be gone. But anybody that's listening or watching, Pete is growing his porno tash. So thanks for that, mate.
I'll keep it till the December episode.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Right.
So yeah,
Where do you want to start?
well, I'll probably start to my left. Ryan.
Let's go.
SQ2, the internet sensation, as I should say. Take us back, because when did you start your social media first?
I started my social media about 18 months ago now.
18 months. This is like, what are me and you doing wrong? Because some of these new upstarts that are coming through on the social media are absolutely flying. I mean, I first noticed you with your funny videos, goodbye, which I'll get you to do at the end of the show, and just all round sort of carefree attitude, as in like not taking life too serious. Your jobs, there's such a varying sort of like theme to them, and I just found watching your videos really easy to watch, and that's not something that I find with ADHD, just for those people watching at home that think I talk too much. Very easy to do. So I wanted to come to you first and sort of get your background story, because you run the business as well.
Yeah.
So I like to talk to people from the business side. Pete likes to know about the trade side. SQ2, yourself, how did you start? How did you get into the trades? And then what led you to sort of be where you are now?
Right. So starting off, what got me into the trades, I was working for my brothers. They're both involved in the trades.
Yeah.
They're both contractors. I was young, didn't really know what I wanted to do. Same old story. Done a year with them when I was 17. Started labouring, loved it. Filling skips all day long, 8, 9 hours, 10 hours, every single day.
Were you one of these that decided that, again, school just wasn't for you? Because, you know, you went and did the college course, didn't you?
Yeah.
So was it just one of them, you came straight out of school, just was like, that's it, I'm never doing an exam again? Or was it just, you just wanted to go into trades? What was?
No, I never had trade on the mind. It was something that I never even considered. But when I was at school, I had trouble sitting still for too long.
You got ADHD?
I think I might have. I've never been, diagnosed with it. But I think one day I might end up being sectioned. Yeah. But no, I could never quite just sit still. So I guess it's maybe something ADHD or something similar like that. So I left, went and done a year to work for my brothers because I was lost, didn't know what to do, and I found a love for it. But after that year, I decided to go back to school and finish off my A-levels because all my mates were going off to university, and I thought, I don't want to be the pleb that ends up stuck in this country shoveling shit into a skip. Yeah. So I went back to finish my school, and then I went off to university, and I actually studied dance because I was I used to compete in gymnastics when I was a kid. For many years, and dance was something that came naturally. I enjoyed doing it, and went off to uni, hated it, got back involved in a building game about 2 years later.
Which uni did you go to?
Chichester. It's a dance academy down there. It's quite good. You get a lot of people.
We're going to get you to do a dance, you know?
I will do a dance.
Hopefully it's better than your dancing. We'll put that for everybody on the screen.
I'm not wearing the same outfit, if that's what you want. But so then come back. Honestly, at the time when I left uni, I come back, wasn't in the best mental state because all my mates were doing really well at university, seeming to manage and didn't really have any sort of issues. And I was really struggling with my course, maintaining all of the practical work, all of the theory work, and it just got way too much. I left, come home, started labouring for my brother Neil. Got 2 older brothers, both contractors. Started labouring for Neil, and I was working for him for a few years. And then just started developing skills, so on and so forth. Worked for a load of different builders here and there. Done a bit of travelling, come back, and at 26, I decided, right, that's it. I'm going to go and make the jump and start going off mine.
Just for everybody listening and stuff, how old are you now?
29.
29. So I always like to give people perspective of how you've gone like that in like short space of time, because it's the same with obviously residual current. We talked about him, Mike first, being 25. Is like the one thing that I always find as well when I speak to a lot of tradespeople is they're always worried about like time's running out, I'm never going to be able to do it, and all that sort of stuff. So I just wanted to put that in there now that you were 26 when you came back to do that.
So I started my company at 27, I think it
27.
was. So yeah, started SQ2 at 27. Got offered an extension. Probably wasn't ready for it at the time, but took the jump anyway, and just worked hard every day until things got better and better. I was just a gradual process.
Yeah,
and that was it. Yeah, so
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? In 3 years. I mean, like, just to put again into perspective for somebody. So your first thing was an extension.
Yep.
What type of work are you working on now? Then, so you've picked that up. Your first job. You shouldn't really be taking it, but
No.
why the hell not? Because you've got to learn on it at the same time.
Yeah.
What type of jobs now? Just to put into perspective, because I've been watching. You're doing like the loft conversions. You've got what's the other one in? Is it Clacton or Clapham or someone? What's the other place that you work
Croydon.
Croydon, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So the first one was a double-story extension, brick and block work, roof on tile, fairly straightforward, and there wasn't any plumbing and electrics involved. But now we're getting, as I said to you guys earlier, all of the work that I get is through my socials, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But I get offered jobs now, like commercial jobs, like
bigger
500, 600,000 pound projects.
Oh.
Loft conversions. I get emailed or sent a DM on my Instagram every single day about a job.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 a day, big jobs.
I mean, how do you handle that? Because I mean, from our perspective, whenever we're selling a product, for example, like there's no finite amount of time of how many products I can sell in one time. But when you're a tradesperson, there's only a set amount of hours in the day. So if you want to grow, how do you, and I'll touch on this with you because you're in the same position.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't want to ever turn down business.
Yeah.
But how, for anybody listening, because I'm sure there's so many people in the same situation, especially now because there's so much work. People are busy now. How do you then make that jump? How did you?
You take on absolutely everything, and you sacrifice your time, and you make it work.
He's like that.
You make it work, all right? Every single one of you who watch my stories, who is watching this podcast right now, you've got time. You're sitting there on your phone, you're watching something, all right? You could be doing something else. Don't tell me you don't have time, all right? Most people expect 8-9 hour day at work. That's just not the case. If you want to achieve, and you want to achieve quick, you've got to be looking at. I hate to say it, you got to be looking at 14-hour days every single day. You live for it. You become obsessed with it, and it is your. You become engrossed in it. Do you agree?
He's banging.
Sorry.
You are absolutely oblivious.
No, I'm watching him bang the table, and do you know what?
It's the passion.
And do you know what? I love it when somebody bangs a table because I know they mean it.
Yeah, I mean it.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
But what you're saying, people, and I think this is true for everyone. Don't care what anyone says. You make time for the things you want to do.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it, you'll make time to do it.
100%.
And you're obviously motivated enough to do what you've done.
Yeah.
What I want to know is if you started your company when you were 27.
Yeah.
And you're 29 now. In the space of 2 years, most people their time would be consumed with growing the business and dealing with all that.
Yeah.
You've then also had this massive jump from starting social media.
Yeah.
But what made you start the social media?
Just one day, I just whacked my camera out. It was my camera
Yeah.
at work.
whacked my. All right. Well.
I whacked my camera out at work and started recording a bit of still work, and just.
And what was it? What did you think? I'm just going to record this for. Did you think it was going to be for?
It is weird when you first start because, like, you think,
What am I doing?
who's going to want to listen to me?
Yeah.
God, I sound like.
But what was your first? Was it an Instagram? Was it a TikTok?
Instagram story.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was like inspired by some of the bigger guys, RR Buildings, and some of the other guys that I've been watching. I just started a page, and I thought, I know that there's people that want to know the inside of how this works rather than the finished product. I know there's people that want to see what bolts you put through a steel, and how it's safe, and how whether a building inspector has passed it or not, and all the little nitty and gritty details that no one really knows about. Everyone lives in a house.
Yeah.
Most people want an extension. So I think it's very important for people to know
What
it's done
goes into it,
from the start
Yeah.
to the finish. So yeah, that was it.
Yeah. I look like one thing that obviously you do very well, and the same with Dave Alwood, who we had on the show, is the tips and the tricks.
Yeah.
It's little things like that where even me, who literally doesn't know how to operate a drill, I'll freely admit that. Like even those little things, like watching how people work and the different things that they do to make something work.
Yeah.
Like I love that.
It's like
100%.
one of the biggest things I picked up from like social media was, you know, when you put a cut in the middle of the bag on a pack of cable ties.
Yeah.
For so many years, I cut the top off a bag of cable ties,
Yeah.
and he'd always end up everywhere. He'd always end up with none left.
Yeah,
And then one day I seen this thing on Instagram, and someone had put a little slice in the middle of the bag,
Exactly.
and you just pull the one out that you need. And I was like, that's so simple.
Yeah.
That's all it takes, though. And there's like on
But so good.
in our trade, radiators come packaged in a basically big plastic bag. And if you cut it at the top, take your radiator
It's a
out,
bin
you've
bag.
got a rubbish bag.
Yeah.
You know, you just need to see one guy do that,
Yeah.
and then someone else
Drops.
starts doing it, and it just goes around, and now everyone's doing it.
100%.
And like things with there's guys using rubble sacks when they're like changing a pump or something, they just curl it up, put it under, and that's just catching any
Yeah.
water. And
I
that's,
think you can
know,
actually buy them. Someone sells that as a product, like
Yeah.
a bag, isn't there?
yeah.
Yeah.
A plastic bag.
Yeah.
But you know, just little tips like that, people love it.
I mean, I you know, the business side always fascinates me because again, you know, you're 27, you start your business. That in itself is daunting enough when you're in your 20s because, you know, everybody's probably telling you don't do it or
yeah.
like, oh, is this going to work? Or you're working too many hours, like don't burn yourself out, all that type of stuff. But then, obviously, looking at what you're doing now, you're not just satisfied with obviously having your construction business, your contracting business. Obviously, you're going into other stuff with listings
Yep.
for other contractors. I
Yep.
mean, like how does that stuff come about? Was that just you looking online and thinking, well, actually, nobody's doing this. I need to be doing something to improve that area?
With the directory.
Yeah, with the directory.
So that started because I was just inundated with messages off of people as the following started to go up. So I was getting hundreds and hundreds of messages. Can you do this? Can you do this? I've got a facial and soffit needs doing in Manchester. I've got a bathroom that needs doing in Leeds. I've got some plumbing work that needs doing in Birmingham. And it was just, I was trying to, at first I could manage the DMs.
When did it become too much?
What,
Because everybody gets to that point, I think, with
Yeah.
social media. When you get a following, is it gets to a point where you think,
Yeah.
actually, I need a Charlotte.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Probably about 6 months ago now. Yeah.
Because everybody starts thinking that you've been rude. Or
No.
You've got too big for your boots now
Yeah,
since the
that's it.
HSE's left you.
Yeah,
alone.
But you physically can't respond to everyone because, you know, I've
Be a
got
full time job, wouldn't it?
full-time job. I've got a missus. I work a lot as it is. When I go home, I can't sit there and start tapping away on my phone.
You've got to
She'll
watch
fucking-
Towie with her, ain't you?
Well, yeah. Something of the sort.
Yeah.
But kind of back to when you were saying about being 27 and starting a business. That's a point I'd like to include. Is that she actually, my wife Anna, had a massive part to play in it. A massive part, and for some people it's kids, for some people it's I don't know, whatever. But I met Anna, and I wanted to do it for her more than I did for me. And
Everybody has to have a purpose, I think. for-
yeah, 100%. What's the saying? Behind every strong man is a strong
Strong
woman,
woman,
and
yeah.
I really believe that. I really do, because she was. I wanted to make her happy. I wanted to give her what she wants, and that was a massive factor. And also, the reason why I am the way I am, and I try so hard, is because I didn't have the best experiences when I was working for other people.
Okay.
So all of those years that I had those bad experiences, I always knew in my head, I'm going to do this so different.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this
Is that why? Because obviously, when I watch you with the people that work with you or for you,
Yeah.
you're a certain way with those guys.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this before. Is the reason Bundy's the way he is with Adam
Yeah.
is because he had a lot of shit off the people that he worked for.
Yeah.
You know, like I tend to find that because you touched on it with me when we were talking. Was I had one boss, and I'll mention his name again, Antonio Rossi, in case you're watching.
Yeah.
He was an absolute prick, and I always vowed that when I had people working here, that I'd never be like that.
Yeah,
So
of
that
course.
comes across when I'm watching
Yeah,
the
yeah,
videos
yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
From your side.
100%.
Yeah.
If one of my boys are not happy at any point during the day, that's a massive problem to me. It's a massive, massive problem. I spoke to my missus about this the other night. It does come at a loss, I think, because by me having to take, that sounded strange, having to take such good care of them and their feelings and how they are at work,
impacts you.
It does impact me. It does, because it could probably be more, what's the word? Not effective. It could probably be more.
What you look
Trying to. It could probably be more beneficial to me if I was maybe stricter and a bit more harsh.
Yeah.
Mate, I don't know, but like, what's more?
You can't change who you are.
I can't change who I am, and in my opinion, I think I get the best out of them. When they've got my respect, I've got theirs. Like it's like a family, and anyone else who I hire, which does scare me, the bigger things get. It does worry me that I won't be able to have such a close relationship.
I can see your
Did you say the same thing?
This is one of the reasons why I had you two on, and you'll probably think, well, why are we similar? Is I've talked to both of you on social, and the stuff that you say is exactly the stuff that you say,
really,
and I can relate to it because every day I walk into work. Like I was having a conversation with Heng, who's a new guy that's just started, and I said, I feel responsible for everybody in
responsible, 100%.
And if stuff's not going right or stuff needs doing,
it's your responsibility.
It's my responsibility.
Yeah,
yes,
no one else's.
Okay, sometimes I'll lash out at these guys, and they'll tell you like, God, we just divide him, and we go and make a cup of tea, whatever it is. But I worry and sit there at 10 o'clock at night or before I'm going to bed. Is everybody going to have a job if I don't do this?
Yeah.
And that does have an effect on you.
100%.
So I completely get.
What you got to be careful is there'll be a fine line between the good members of staff who appreciate you being empathetic.
Yes.
And then the guys that will take the piss.
Yeah, 100%. They will exploit you.
Exactly.
No. Yeah. And actually,
you're always going to find it.
I think that's a bit of a funny subject for me to talk about now, but I know who respects what I'm giving them and who doesn't.
Yeah.
And the ones I will sack people like immediately.
The thing I found over the years, which I never knew, because nobody ever shows you how to be a boss.
Yeah, no.
So the things that I've learnt was I hire slow and I fire fast.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
because you get one bad apple in the cart.
Yeah,
and that's it.
It ruins everything.
The whole thing goes to.
I think the wrong person in any business can ruin the whole lot.
100%
from experience.
Yeah,
and I think the recruitment process needs to be the main focus if it's ever needed. And any growing company, you'll know what it's like trying to find somebody that you can bring into a team that works so well together.
Having the time to train people as well.
And somebody who's going to fit the bill, because, going back to what you said, you will get people that'll take the piss, and you will get people that'll think, Ryan doesn't care.
It's half the reason why
I just do this.
It's really hard to get an apprenticeship these days, because there's so many bad experiences with people. They take a young lad on, they train him up, they put all their time and knowledge into him, and then as soon as he's qualified, he leaves and becomes their competition. What you need is loyal staff, and you get that by treating them like you're treating your staff. And hopefully you would expect, after being like that with them, they would be loyal to you and want to stay on with you and earn you money together as a family, like a team.
Exactly.
But one bad apple.
Yep. Yep. And it'll ruin it for the rest of them as well.
Yeah.
Because they'll see that one bad apple and think, oh, hold on, why is he getting paid that to not do that much when I'm working my nuts off? So.
Your face every time he says something, I'm like, is this ringing true for you? Is this ringing true for you?
Yeah. I think it's just two very similar businesses, but two opposite industries, and I think that there's a lot of synergy. I think that the hiring has to be right, the atmosphere has to be right, and the people have to be right within the business. And without that, and you'll know from going from being just Ryan and being SQ2 to being Ryan who employs 50 people, it's the most difficult journey any entrepreneur or any business owner will go through, is trying to find the right people.
Well, you two are from completely different sort of areas. You're generator, backup power, like big industrial data centres, that type of stuff. Obviously your jobs are getting bigger, but it's sort of like
domestic building.
Yeah. So you couldn't be any different, but you still have the same issue. So this is why, again, obviously, when sometimes you go, why do you pair these people together?
Yeah.
This is the type of thing that I wanted to talk about.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that's why you'd done that.
I'm a matchmaker basically.
Interesting.
So occasionally when we sat next to each other, I've plugged you together.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like, you know, so what would you say then, from going back to you quickly, is your hardest thing now to grow? Now you've seen because once you get a taste for it, and you see it grow, then you sit in your car at 9 o'clock at night looking out the window talking and still doing those messages on social because you know that you need to do it to explain, to grow, to get more business. What do you see now as either the hardest bit to grow, or where do you see that growing once you've overcome that? What would you say that is for you now?
The hardest thing to grow now?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think my worst days are behind me now, and I don't actually see. Sorry, I don't see.
We'll have a competition on how many times he taps it to see if anybody watched the whole thing.
I'll be honest with you. I would like to answer that question in more of a way that you sort of asked me, but I'll be dead honest and say that I've got absolutely nothing negative to say, and I'm not worried and I'm not scared about growth or what's hard about me growing now. What I will say is that it's hard starting.
Yeah.
All right. That's the worst part, because let's be real. You have to get your name out there. You have to do cheap jobs. You have to work every single hour under the sun. You don't have any staff. It's just you. It's nuts. You start a business. No one tells you how to run a business, like you said. But once you've got all that hard bit out of the way, then and you can see the growth. All you got to do is just manage it and just take baby steps every single day, and it'll all piece in. All right.
Because I mean, even though like your journey's been a couple of years, like sometimes when it's a bit like a rocket ship, people don't see that like it is like Rome. I always say Rome isn't built in a day.
Of course,
you know,
it's
you
not.
just just every day you do a little bit more, and then eventually you look back a year later,
Yeah.
and you go, geez, I've gone from a £1.2 million contract to, you know, I'm hitting this now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You know, so it's so similar. So I'm going to jump over to you quickly. I'm going to say Jack Plevin Power. Just give us a brief description, because you're the first person from sort of your sort of sector that we've had on the show. Just give us a brief background as to what do you do for everybody that's listening.
My business focuses in an area called critical power, which is a standby, prime or critical application, and we basically service, install, maintain or supply generators to the industry. And these generators will sit sometimes in domestic dwellings, on country estates, in a lift shaft for a hotel that you might be staying in a data centre, or anywhere basically where the power is classified as critical. In some big buildings it's classed as critical for things like fire systems and lift shafts. A lot of the business that we do for like commercial residential clients is in London, in tower blocks and stuff like that, you know, Manchester, places. But then we also do hire, so we hire equipment to places like fire stations. We're hiring stuff at the moment to a Christmas fair in Manchester. So
But like the German market type thing.
Yeah, but you'll know yourself, like, you know, going back when I first started, it was just me in a van, much like Ryan. And now I'm in amongst this business that's servicing all these different elements of industry, and it's just like, it's almost overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, just to put it into perspective for you, so how old were you when did you go and work for somebody else as well first, or?
Yeah, so I left school at 16 and got an apprenticeship in a family-owned business. My nan's brother, so is my uncle, and after 6 months got sacked. So out of a family
Why did you get sacked?
So it went really well. The truth of the matter was, they put me on a domestic installation course, and anybody watching will know what domestic installation is. It wasn't something I wanted to do. Didn't really want to be in that industry. But during my time at the employment, I won't name the company, I dabbled in generators.
Yeah.
And I thought, big dirty diesel engine, oil, filters, electric, it all like sort of amalgamated into one. It wasn't just this one particular job, which was stripping sewage pumps.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I came away from there, wanted another job, couldn't get one, so ended up cutting grass during the summer of 2000. And
you get a good tan though.
yeah, it was great. Yeah. Whatever summer it was. So yeah, and then I came out of cutting grass all summer and like earning my way to live at home with my parents.
So how old are you at this point?
25.
25.
Well, you're young, man. That's impressive.
I came out of that and really wanted to get into doing diesel generators, and I was applying for jobs in Scotland, Glasgow, all these areas where these big companies existed, and everyone said you live too far away. And then I applied for a company called Caterpillar based in the Midlands. Got a job local. They said there's an apprenticeship available for you in a place called Morton, which is local to me. But then during the interview process, they closed that branch. So I was like in jeopardy. Decided to keep pursuing it, and they offered me a job based in Cannock in Staffordshire. So I
Not
moved.
far from here.
Lived in Cannock in a place called Brownhills for 5 years. Studied at Telford College. Did 1 day release at Caterpillar University and the rest at their academy. And then came away from... Caterpillar was the best place in the world to work. It was exactly like our businesses are, exactly like your business. But then it changed MDs halfway through after I came out my time, and it all changed. It all became about corporate espionage, basically. Cost cutting. We need to cut this, we need to cut that, we need to save money, and the whole family gel and everyone's in it together. Customer comes first, and all of that thing that eccentric, around the client. It fell apart for me. And because the gel of the business was sort of falling apart, I decided to move on and left. And I had 6 months at home trying to decide what was next. And during them 6 months, bought a van. And everybody called me crazy.
Still 25 at this point?
No, this is when
Younger.
I was 21.
21.
Everyone called me crazy. I had $6,000 in the bank savings, sold my car, was debt free. Lived at home for 6 months, not really knowing what to do. Had a few holidays. Went to Ibiza with the lads, as you do. Not really knowing.
I had an epiphany.
Not
Lost
really
in Cafe
knowing,
Mambo.
not knowing what to do, and more so being disappointed in myself for giving up such a, because everyone that was at Caterpillar had been there 40 or 50 years. It was that kind of place. It wasn't a place people
I
left.
find those are the types of places, though, that, like, for anybody listening, apologies to anybody that has a long career at somewhere, but that shit really scares me. Like, where it's like they've been there for 40 years because just...
But it was, and looking back, I find myself thinking now, especially from where I was to where I am, like when I was in that environment, it just becomes a way of life. You don't think outside of the box. It's like, you come to work at 7 o'clock every day, you do this between them hours, you have your dinner at 12 to 1, you go back to work, and it's very easy to fall into that routine, I think.
100%.
And I think for, not for people that are self-employed, but it's also very easy to live what I call a comfortable life, because you haven't got to worry about getting paid every month. You haven't got to worry about wanting to take a 2-week holiday. There's none of them pressures that exist when you're in full-time employment in a business that's successful, when you've been there 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years. So, and I struggled with that. Like, that's something, because I've got friends that are self-employed and don't really want to take it much further, but they're happy, bimbling their way through life, and look at how fast you've scaled. Like,
there's no right or wrong with it, but I think you can always tell when somebody wants to have
more. Well, look at you touched on it. You've got to want it. If you don't want it and you don't want to take it anywhere, you'll never go anywhere.
Because people do it in different things. Like, you guys have taken on extra people, but your thing was, I want to make my own stuff. So it can happen in different ways. So that's why it's good to get people on. Yours is like my company. Yours was, I want to start making now I've been doing this and I know what I'm doing, and I feel like I've got to that level. I will now want to start making products that I would use. So it manifests itself into different.
You almost
forms.
like you serve an industry, whereas we provide a service.
You find, like, I think you're the same, because we were chatting before the show. You're doing your job, you're doing your social media, and you've also got loads and loads of ideas just constantly, but you've just not got time to do them all. But you are thinking of things because you're motivated, and you're thinking, what can I do next?
You're doing them in your sleep.
Exactly.
It's just like the actual job.
At the 5 o'clock in the morning text, though, because you wake up straight away and you're like, I was thinking about that when I went to sleep.
Straight away.
But the job
on it.
becomes, it's not enough for you. You want more, and that's.
I think I've messaged you as well at 3 in the morning.
I text you back as well.
Because we were talking about, like, he's like, do you ever, the Chinese always call me like Dracula, because they're like, do you ever sleep?
Well, he was on his honeymoon 2 weeks. He said to me, I'm not taking my phone. Phone's going to be off. Every day he's texting me at least 25, 30 messages. I'm like, mate, have you not got anything better to do than text me?
No, I was allowed my phone for 1 hour, so I got to plough it out.
You pumped it out then.
I'll be honest with you, though, because like hearing that about how you guys are like, it's about sacrifice, it's about just doing it long hours. The one thing that I will say is, after coming back off a holiday, it is. But God, you need to detach.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure everybody listening as well, when
a lot
they're
of people say that
in the moment and stuff like
Have
that.
you done it though? I've never done it.
See, I did, and I didn't like it.
I don't like
No,
this.
I the only reason I didn't, because it's early days.
Was that when you went to Croatia?
That was when I went to
Yeah,
Croatia. Too early, way too early for me. It's probably nice for you because you're established, you've been doing it a while, so you can detach.
I'm lucky that I've got people
Yeah.
that I can rely on.
Yeah.
Right, and do you put pressure on yourself to upload content? Have you got like a thing where I need to do one thing a day?
Yes.
Or, yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
That's how I started. When I first started Twitter and Instagram, I put pressure on myself, one thing every day. And then, because I've been doing it for so long now,
You're conditioned.
I don't post very regularly. But
We don't actually
when you're
talk-
growing it, but then you're thinking, right, I need to get some out today because I've got people at my heels that are going to, be up where I am. And
Exactly.
You've got a lot of pressure on yourself.
Yeah. And also because, like, yourself, like, there's algorithms to the socials and stuff like that. And Instagram, I know for a fact, I'll use one guy as an example, Winnie Designs. I don't know if you guys follow him. He's an American guy. He smashes it. He smashed it out of the park. And Winnie actually said himself that he sacrificed his whole business. He took a loss in his business to grow his socials. So he was taking on less jobs, focusing on them with just him and another guy, and he focused on content every single day was his main focus. That man was pumping out 3 to 5 reels every single day.
Wow.
Every single day. He said that he wasn't sleeping till 1 a.m. every single night, maybe later. He didn't speak to his missus a lot. It's true. He sacrificed his shame. And he had kids as well. And he grew. He started the same time as me.
Right.
And Winnie has got 450,000 followers.
I think over in the US especially is like social. Some of the accounts
It's massive, isn't it?
Yeah,
Massive.
Is a way bigger. I think over here we're still
Amateurs.
not
I think it's new
amateurs.
to the
We're
UK
just
though, like the growth in America. It's been there before.
Instagram's a US.
Do you
It's
It's
a US.
easier to grow over there.
It's a US platform, isn't it? So I think like
algorithm works in their favour.
Do you reckon?
no, well I don't reckon it's that, but I think they started before. So the likes of Murray or Eric Mechanical Hub or Tools by Design or RR Buildings, they started before it became popular over here, and I think it sort of came over. But I see people that are growing quite quickly over here, and it's sort of like I think they set the precedent for it, but I do still think that there'll be accounts over here that will be
100%.
the same size.
Yeah, Winnie, I'm coming for you, man.
It's good. It's good to have something like that to aim for.
It's him.
Yeah.
It was me and him before.
Yeah,
now
we
it's
was having a little
Winnie's.
race, only by a couple of
I'm coming for you, Winnie.
No, he's, I physically can't post as much as someone like that because I can't sacrifice my business.
Yeah.
I'm trying to grow the construction side. I want to be...
If it's successful, then you fit it around that. I mean, my thing is, my missus will tell you, I come home and I am on that phone.
I bet. Yeah, same.
And it's sort of like something has to give. And like the one thing that I did realise by going away was actually, occasionally I just need to put that away.
Yeah. And it feels good if you do.
The world will not end if I don't. I mean,
there's
me and
always
you
that
never
one
talk
text.
to each other because whenever we were out together, we were on the phone like, Pete, you're on social.
Yeah.
But actually, sometimes it is good to put it. I understand the position you guys are in now, where it's like you can see the momentum coming. You think, if I take my foot off the gas now, like the wheels are going to come off.
Yeah, that's it.
But you've got to sometimes be able to step back.
I do believe in taking that time to switch off, and I always thought.
When was the last time you did?
You said you didn't?
Hashtag no days off.
You haven't. If you started.
No.
Yeah, you can't.
I've had time off. But
Well, what about you,
Never
Pete? What
switched
about you
off.
when you first started? Tell the truth. Was you obsessed at the start?
Yeah. Put a lot of pressure on myself, and I started to not enjoy it. And I think
You've got to have fun with it.
Yeah.
I got to a level
Became
where
mature, though.
I wasn't enjoying it. It became like work. So then I stopped posting so regular, and I just
Is that when I
choose
kept asking you for a giveaway?
This guy's relentless. Giveaway.
The giveaway king.
He'd do one every hour if he could.
Next up, giveaway.
Yeah, I put a lot of pressure on myself, and then I got to a point where I stopped, and now I don't regularly upload an Instagram post unless it's something I think benefits someone.
Yeah.
I've stopped. I used to do like a picture of my tools in my kit bag, like a loadout. what do people benefit from that apart from it's nice pictures and tools. So I've stopped doing that, and I just put stuff on where I think it's actually contributing.
Yeah.
Probably sell more tool bags though.
Well, yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
not,
but that's it though. That now Pete's established himself though, which is interesting because you didn't stop doing that until you did.
yeah.
So
I think you have more fun now because you just do it because you
Yeah, because
enjoy
there's no
it.
pressure.
yeah, the pressure's gone.
You're not trying to chase it, are you?
But even like you said about the kit bags, like I do a YouTube video every Sunday, and one day I was using one of my kit bags, and I thought, oh, why don't I talk about, like, oh, by the way, this is one of the bags I made.
Yeah.
I never think about like plugging stuff.
But that's probably why people do respect you, because you don't ram it down somebody's throat.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what, let's talk about the discount code then. So how many years have you been asking me to do a discount code for uni like?
God,
4
probably
years?
as many years as I've been trying to get
Yeah.
you to do a
And I've
giveaway.
always-
You tight bastard.
I wanted to talk about this because I've not wanted to do discount codes because I didn't want to become like a salesman. I just wanted to
I
be
know
known
what you
to be
mean.
good at my job. But then I did one with him as a favour because we do this together and we're mates.
I felt sorry for you.
No, but we're mates.
His arms were getting
He
bigger and
asked-
bigger and
he
bigger, and he
asked
thought, oh, I've got to do it.
And it worked out really well. And then people saying, "Oh, thanks for that discount code, Pete." And then I thought, I'm overthinking this. I'm thinking I don't want to do a discount code because I don't want to be like a salesman.
But you're helping people
I'm
out.
helping my followers out by saving them money. So I think I'm not going to do loads of discount codes, but I think
Such
I
a
was.
martyr, isn't he?
Yeah.
Such a martyr. All right, Mother
think-
Teresa.
Yeah, that's it, Gandhi.
Give me the code.
Yeah.
Kenny Everett, like, can I speak for a minute? I think I was
Tell
putting
these
too
to
much
him, mate,
pressure on
can't
myself by overthinking things, and I think sometimes don't take it so seriously. And if you're using a product anyway, if you're using something and you've got an opportunity because you've got this platform where you can then share out a discount code with the people who subscribe and they're going to benefit by saving money.
Yep.
Why not? I've come around to the way of thinking.
Yeah.
I got him in a headlock. At the
That's it, you
Halloween
got him.
special was
He
like,
got him by
begged
the
me,
balls,
Pete,
mate.
do your discount code, do a discount code. For fuck's sake, okay.
please.
Oh, dear.
So, ladies and gents, if you want to save big on some big name brands, then Trade Legends is the place to do that. Head on over to www.tradelegends.uk/discount. You know, going back to the business side, okay, both of you, off the top of your head, if you had to say what is the one bit of recipe for success or that has helped you, what would you say it is?
You first, Jack.
Ignore everybody that tells you that you can't do it.
What would you say yours is?
Was the question again?
What would you say is the one bit that is the recipe for the success? Obviously, I said consistency for me is just being consistent.
Yeah, I think that, like, you know, go back to what I just said. There's so many people that'll tell you it can't be done, you won't do it, you're doing it wrong, you're working too much. You know what it's like.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody will tell you it's unachievable, and you'll be saying, "I've got this goal for next year." Well, how are you going to do that? Like, Ryan, how are you going to get more people? And if you listen to them people, it introduces self-doubt. And I've been there, and I've sat there, and I've thought, am I thinking, like, am I wrong? And then the reality is you get to a certain point in business, and anyone that's on a journey like this will get to it, and things will always go wrong, but they'll always work out as well. And
But the thing I always say to these in here is if you do something and it goes wrong, you can fix it. If you don't do anything at all,
you're never going to
then
learn.
nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
But you don't learn from it either. And I think that's another thing. Like, people don't respect the fact that you've got to make mistakes to learn from them.
Yeah.
And we don't do things right all the time. I seen something that you put up on Instagram the other day about.
I don't pull him up that he's done something
No,
wrong.
but he used the high up.
fucking come.
He used the truck that wasn't a crane.
That's
or whatever
right,
it
yeah,
was.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
sat there and I read the comments people were making. And all he tried to do was do his customer a favour, save some money,
Yeah.
and do something a different way. And just because it wasn't what people were used to seeing, everybody had a problem with it.
HSE got involved.
Yeah, well, apparently so anyway.
But that's the
Yeah.
reality though, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, but you learn from that. You've done something
Yeah.
in a different way,
Yeah.
took something away from it. And I think if you can't try it and you can't learn from it, then I do not see the point in it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, going back to you then, because I did the Kenny Everett and we went off on a tangent. What would you say? So how old were you then when you did start the business? So you're 21 at this point. I want to go back to that point.
21.
21, sold the car, did the whatever,
Just had a summer off, and then it was summer 2018, September 2018. I started Plevin Power.
at 21,
Yeah,
right? Six grand in the bank.
yeah.
So
Nothing.
young. So young.
Nothing.
Yeah. These are things why I love to have people on, because especially if you're doing your own thing as well. It doesn't, even if you're on your own, everybody starts that thing at a different time. Because you know, like when you said, "I watched all my mates go off to uni," I did exactly the same thing, and I watched them all. Some of them getting nice cars, buying a house, and I was thinking, God, I am a waste to see.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
That's society, though. You always think you've got to keep up with the Joneses.
100%.
Everyone's like, because I see it now. Like, I've got 2 younger sisters, and I struggle because I was never that person. I didn't want the Montclair jacket or the Canada Goose jacket for winter. Or,
But you got one now.
well, yeah. But reality is, everybody has something, and then if you haven't got it, you want to keep up with them. Or it's like the new iPhone.
Instagram has.
What's the point in getting a new iPhone? Like, my phone's perfectly fine. I've had the same phone 4 years.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But everyone's got the new iPhone. It's like, we need new iPhones. What's wrong with the one you've
I'm
got?
not going to wet my phone out now. I'm leaving it in the pocket. No, definitely, I agree
I
with
think,
Sanjay.
like, it's so wrong.
I don't know what you're talking about. New iPhone.
No, but that's a good point.
That's one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a prime example. Is like Apple advertised that, people get it, everyone wants it, and it's like most of the time what you've got will do you.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
100%.
I can't even agree with that.
Yeah.
So you're both, we were talking before the podcast, you're both getting the majority, if not all of your work now from social media.
everything that we do as a business comes from social.
Everything.
Your LinkedIn is your most
Powerful tool.
powerful tool, and you would say yours is Instagram.
Yep.
So was that like a step? Did you stop taking the work from regular sources like word of mouth and advertising, and it just went to the social? Or have you built that up?
When I set out as a business, I'd never even heard of LinkedIn.
Right.
My granddad actually recommended it to me, and he said, get yourself on LinkedIn. You know, there's people on there that do your kind of work all the time. It's a way to find jobs. It's a way to meet people in similar industries. And what I found, especially with what I do, is there's not anybody else doing it. Yes, there's some younger lads that are within our industry that work for other companies and may post the odd picture, and you'll get company owners that will post odd pictures, but you'll get nobody that does stuff like what we do, where we go into it and we'll actively every single day tell every single one person that follows us what we're doing, exactly like what Ryan does. This is what I'm doing, this is who's doing it, and this is how we're doing it. And I did that on LinkedIn. I do it on Instagram. I'm not as successful as you three on Instagram, but there's probably a reason for that. And that's because...
But everybody has their own
niche.
their own platform. Like ours is Insta. It used to be Twitter. Facebook was...
Yeah.
But everybody has their...
Yeah,
their
but
one.
like with
So-
LinkedIn, people can see like what I do as a company owner and what Plevin Power does as a business on a much larger scale.
100%.
For yours, when your customers are bigger industrial company, when they see your work ethic on LinkedIn, because there's probably not many people that at
Well,
least...
you're not going to get someone on Facebook say, does anyone know who can fit me a generator?
No, but it's like, because you're the first person really to come on and talk about LinkedIn being your best social.
So
Interesting.
And it's something where people that are listening or watching probably wouldn't think so much. I mean, I see you use it occasionally as well.
I'm
don't
on
you?
LinkedIn, and it's more for the, when I do like the van crime campaigns, it's good because you've got people from, MDs of companies that might be able to help.
But like people like Ryan, for example, like what you do, people on LinkedIn, all right, it might not be the person who wants the house extension doing, but it might be the engineer who's on a job, who's stuck, who needs somebody like Ryan to help him, or it might be the person who's a manager of that multi-million-pound construction contract who thinks we're in the shit. Somebody like Ryan could help us get out of it.
Yeah.
It's a very different audience.
It's strictly professional
It
platform, isn't it?
It's very, very professional.
Yeah.
People slag it off and say, oh, it's turning into Facebook, but most platforms do have a tendency
Have you liked a picture of a dog on LinkedIn?
No.
I had
It's a cake.
I had a guy on LinkedIn. He got really upset because I went on LinkedIn and I do things to like promote good practice in plumbing. And I'm a domestic plumber at best. I'm a combi slinger. But I bent a piece of 15mm pipe, probably like 6 bends on one piece of pipe, and had fitted it into the job perfectly. And I put it on LinkedIn because I was proud of it, and I'm entitled to be proud of it. This guy's like, oh yeah, it's not 54mm. It's not an 8-meter length of 54mm pipe, though, is it? Like, he was trying to put me down.
And
And then
that,
we
again,
end up-
That's a good topic.
LinkedIn is very... It's a hard place to be, because if you think that you getting comments about what you did with that crane, for example, you'll get I call them professional idiots on LinkedIn, because who will deliberately slag you off, or will be there, but they won't be there to pull you down with silly comments like what you're doing that for, you tit or whatever. It'll be a full-on paragraph. Yeah, detailed. You don't meet regulation this. I'm going to tell association this, and it will and it's always like professional degradation of your character.
The reason that is because they probably see your business as a threat.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
they're just being a dick.
Yeah. This is a really interesting topic, trolls. I think we should talk about trolls.
a lot of the time, it's either big dick contests. They're trying to make out that they know more than you, or they're better than you, or they're trying to put you down to make themselves feel better. But what they don't realise is, and especially for me, I got a TikTok video. I don't really know what my place is on TikTok. I just put stuff off Instagram onto TikTok. Yeah. But I've got a video that's got 1.5 million views because so many people are saying something negative about it. Yeah. But it helps me because it adds to the algorithm, doesn't it? Yeah. But the thing is, this job that I put on...
I can see you like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. This job I put on, I'm using press fittings, which is like... You push the fittings together, use a tool to press it. So they say there's no skill because you're not soldering with a flame and flux and solder. Yep. So I do this one job, press fittings, and then the comments are, you don't know how to solder. Obviously you don't know how to solder. Or the thing that I hate the most is, tell me you don't know how to solder without telling me.
You don't know,
and they're basing one job I've put on.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
No.
And I've said before, it's like me eating a pizza and then them assuming I eat pizza for every meal because they've seen me eat a pizza. It's not, it's just one job. But all those comments, you think, why don't you just look at my other videos? You can clearly see that I solder.
We talked about like mental health and trolls on the last one. Yeah. And the best one I ever had was, I messaged Pete straight after because like I'd had a really bad, my cousin had died of cancer. And some guy had an issue with something, and I messaged him, and he says, "Oh, I don't care if your cousin's died." That was his response to it. Yeah. And I said to him, I was like, because obviously at the same time you were getting a lot of stuff like PB Bummer and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I can imagine me and you deal with it different because I kill it with kindness or I make a joke. But do you go at them?
Sometimes, sometimes.
Yeah.
But
it does get to a point though where it's like it's wearing. It's just like
It would. I can imagine it would stop some people from. Well, it does stop some people from wanting to upload their work on because
Twitter does.
The guy I work with, Ben. Yeah. I'm filming everything for YouTube. He's like, don't put me on, I'll get trolled. I'm like, no, you won't.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I know. People proper worry about it.
Yeah.
But have you had death threats and stuff before?
I've not had death threats. I get a lot of people saying I'm like calling me gay, don't I?
I had one guy. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago? He I can't remember what he said. He came on and slagged the products off. So I called him out and I think I said, "Oh, are you on your period?" And he actually then flipped his shit and said, "Come on then. Yeah, I'll get in the DMs and I'll have you."
Yeah. So how can I have a fight in the DMs?
So I got in the DMs and I rang him. Yeah. And I kept ringing him. And I kept ringing him. Yeah. And I kept ringing him. Yeah. Which I shouldn't have done. But I just, like, sometimes
it's just... flicks a switch sometimes, though, because, like, I get it. I've got people...
So I kept ringing him. Yeah. And he never answered.
And he didn't answer. What
Whoever you are, you know who you are.
Exactly.
So call me in my DMs.
You've got to deal with all four of us.
Still haven't blocked.
The worst thing I've had is people say, "Oh, I'll see you at a trade show one day." And obviously it's a threat. And if they do want to fight with me, I would be absolutely useless in a fight. I've never really, apart from at school, probably had a couple of scraps. I'm not a fighter. I'd be absolutely useless.
He'd have to jump on the terrier. I'd bite his nose.
Yeah. You're one of them.
I'd need backup.
Straight out of Birmingham, that's why, yeah.
I'd need backup if I ever got in a fight. But so,
small man syndrome.
What do you relish it? Do you hate it?
No, do you know what? I don't hate it. I find it quite comical, actually. Yeah. And what I've found is that everyone else, my followers who do like my stuff, they find it quite entertaining when I sort of show and mention what has gone on. Yeah. And mate, I've had some really bad ones.
But do you find that if you do get a negative comment, you don't even have to stick up for yourself because your followers will do it for you?
Yeah, they will go for it.
Nobody does that for me because nobody loves uni like that much.
Yeah, I do. But no,
right on, you get some.
Yeah, no. It started off like pretty slow, like maybe one every month or two. People started coming for me in a DM saying, "You're a fake, you're a chancer, you don't know how to build, you're a mug," all this standard stuff. But one the other day was the worst thing ever. It was so bad. There's a construction company up north, who were trying to give me a bit of grief. Anyway, I won't mention any names, but you know who you are. And I dealt with them. I spoke to them on DMs, and I said, look, if you want to call me out, I'll call you out. If you want to go down that line, because you've got about 5,000 followers.
Yeah.
Said, if you want to go down that line, we will. He went, no, I don't want to do all that. I'm not interested. And then this is where my missus come into play, because she's like a fucking detective. She is like a detective. So I got a call that night off of some random geezer from God knows where up north.
Yeah.
I'm going to come down to London. I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm going to turn up at your house with a bag full of knives and cut your throat. All this shit, voicemail after voicemail after voicemail. I'm listening to them, cracking up at the first few. Do you know what I mean? You're laughing. And then when he started to say he was going to hold me hostage and shit, I thought, well, this ain't right. Yeah. I looked him up. He looked like a bit of a dodgy fella. He looked not quite right. Yeah, like he had severe mental health issues. You know what I mean? When you just look at something, you're not right in the
Well,
head.
the thing is, you could egg it on, and you just don't know in this.
You could egg it on, and then my address is on company's house.
Yeah.
So how far do you take it?
Mine is as well.
How far do you
Anyone
take
wants
it?
to come and say that.
Yeah. There you go. To all the fucking trolls you want a bit. But like my missus started to get worried, but then she done a little bit of investigation. So this is for the person listening as well, just so you know. My missus done a bit of investigation, and the random person who was calling me up turns out to be Facebook friends with the construction company up north who was giving me grief in the first place, and he called a truce. He wanted a truce on the DM. So what he's done, he's jacked it in because he don't want me to tag his company. He's got his mate to phone me and start sending me death threats. And I still get them now for him. Still getting them now. And I answer the phone, I start laughing down the phone at him. What's he going to do?
But that side of things, like you just,
it's nuts.
It's just, you get a lot of it as
well.
well.
I've had people saying they'll be at the gates because obviously I've got a unit, and I'll be waiting for you at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm here all night, like I'll wait for you. And it's like, what are you going to do?
I've had 4 cans of Red Bull.
It's just like, what if you're going to do something, come and do it.
Yeah, but why do you think it is though? Why do you think people message you and say, oh, Unilight products are crap?
The thing for me that I just want to stress to people is like, when we make a product, we don't always get it right.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
but it's not your fault, and that doesn't mean that you should be punished for it.
No.
I always feel like it's my fault because most of the time it's me that's designing it, so the buck stops with me. So when somebody says they've got a product that's faulty or something,
you'd have to design a pretty shit product for someone to come and smash your face in.
But like,
that's what I'm trying to say.
But when, like, it's say you did a job and something went wrong. Any of you feel personally responsible. When I make something and it stops working or it doesn't turn on or something like that, it's like one of my children has died in the wild. So like that's what upsetting enough. But then when somebody slags off the company, like it's a family business. My mum and dad started it. My mum and dad got divorced over it. Like so much has happened in 40 years of Unilight. Do you know what I mean? And it was sort of like my parents started the name Unilight, but me and my sister have made what it is now because it's completely changed.
Yeah, but would you say that you run a successful company?
Yes.
Yeah, you would say. Would you say that Apple runs a successful company?
Yes.
Do you think Apple get grief on their products?
Oh, I don't know who rings up.
Yeah, of course they do.
Probably. Everyone gets
don't
grief.
get a geezer from up north ringing up saying, "Hi, Steve Cook," or whatever his name, Steve Jobs.
Yeah, cool. They maybe do. But what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter how well you're doing. You need to remember that you're doing well, and there's always going to be someone that is going to try and come for you. What are they doing so well? What mistakes have they made in their life? Have they started anything? Are they doing anything?
I think there's 4 of us though that are all from different walks of life. I'm in a different place to you. You're in a different place to Pete. Pete's in a different place to you, and yet all 4 of us have the same problems.
Yeah.
There's something common amongst it all that is in play with, no matter who you are or what you do. And I seem to think a lot of mine comes from people, and people say, oh, Jack thinks everyone's jealous, but everyone who seems to have a problem with me has been trying to do it for the last 15 years.
Yeah, that's it. 100%.
I've been doing it 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's like,
The whole
you can't
point,
compare me with you,
Yeah.
so stop hating on it.
Yeah. The whole point
They
of
don't
this,
work as hard as you.
No.
Yeah.
the whole point of this show, and the reason I wanted to start the podcast, I'm interested in other people. I'm interested in the business side. I'm interested in like how people do what they do. But also, I wanted to sort of break down the barrier. You're a plumber, you do generator power, you're a contractor. Like the problem that I find in trades is there's all this like, oh, you're a plumber and you're a spark. Like, don't get me wrong, a bit of banter's great.
Yeah, but it's not like that though, is it? It's a proper divide nowadays.
But it should.
Do you think?
I see it like.
Some areas I think it's got better, you know, like people talking about mental health, people are talking about certain things now that they wouldn't have done before. Like you go to work, be like, what's the matter with you, pussy? Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas now it's like, I'm having a shit day, mate, just leave me alone.
But you like, it all depends on the individual. Like, I get on fine with electricians. I would like to be an electrician if I would retrain to do another trade.
Is he all right?
Yeah.
But you'll find some guys, like football rivalries, they're
Right
so
issue.
embedded
that's
into
just
them that they should
insane.
hate plumbers and they should hate electricians. That
But that you see it on a domestic and like on a commercial level, where there's 300 sparkies on one
Yeah,
job and
of
300
course.
plumbers,
Yeah,
and it's just a constant battle. But you know,
Yeah.
your job's shitter than my job.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work like that.
I personally, I could not give less of
Two
it.
tosses
I
about
couldn't
that.
give a shit about. I don't want to sound like an arsehole, but I couldn't give less of a shit about anyone else because I'm too focused on what I'm doing. I don't mean that in a mean way, but I'm not going to be negative towards someone else because I just haven't got the time.
That's like mine.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have a reason to be negative either.
Yeah, no.
There's just
Do
no
you-
need for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Like, for me, if I see somebody doing well and they've done well with something, I want to know how they've done it.
Yeah, I'm interested. Like you.
I
Yeah,
don't,
yeah, yeah.
I don't
yeah,
care
yeah.
that somebody's done it.
Yeah.
You know, like you with the tool bags. Like,
Yeah.
I find certain things like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
Like
same.
we sold our tool bag, did 350 in the first weekend. He sold 700 of them.
Exactly.
Like,
I was interested in that. Yeah.
how did
Yeah.
you do it?
the way. So the kit bag story. I'll do it briefly because what time are we on?
7:30.
We're going for 1 hour.
Okay, so in a nutshell, I
was
was
quick, wasn't
I started my YouTube channel. I was reviewing kit bags because when I first bought my first Vito Pro Pack, I did so much research on it because it's so expensive. I watched YouTube video after YouTube video of how people were loading them out, all the pockets, variations, different bags. So then once I got my first Vito bag, I was doing a YouTube video on that, and then Velocity, which is an English company, they approached me and said, can we send you one of our bags? And I did a video on it, and then I did another video on the next bag. And then I went to a trade show and I was just talking to Tony, who makes the bags, and I had wanted to design my own bag at this point for a couple of years because I'd used so many different kit bags. Even the Vito bags, they weren't right. I was modifying them. I was adding bits on. I was cutting bits out. So he said, do you want to do one together? And I just said yes. And then it went from there. I drew a picture of what I wanted, and then he made it into like a 3D drawing. Sent it off to a bag designer. They send you back a prototype bag. You get it, you look at it and say, yeah, I like that, I don't like that. You make a few changes. They draw on it with like crayons and say, move this, move that, add a pocket there, take a pocket out there.
Yeah.
It goes back again. You get the second sample, which is getting now more to what the finished one's going to look like. You make some more changes to that. Then you get a third sample. Every sample costs money
Of course.
to make. And
Yeah.
and in the end, you get the bag you want.
Yeah.
And then it was a special project. It was like a limited edition. We're going to make this bag with Pete, and we ordered like, I think it was 700 units. And that was it. It was going to be it. And they sold out. So then we spoke about, should we order some more? Because we weren't confident about how many we were going to sell. We didn't know how we were going to sell. And I was lucky that my followers support me enough. They bought them blind faith because I'd done a video on it, but without actually touching something, how do you know you want to spend that much money on a bag? But yeah, it was so well. We ordered more. They sold out. Then I wanted to design another bag. And now I'm on my 5th bag, and we're still selling what was meant to be a limited edition of the first bag because people still want them. And it all came about because I started reviewing tool bags on YouTube.
Exactly. And to me, that is genuinely inspirational.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
It's an interesting story, isn't it?
It is.
When you talk 21, starting a business, $6,000 in your bank account, you've gone off, you've had people put you down, slag you off, you've come back, like sitting at home thinking, oh God, and then you just bit the bullet
Yeah.
and done it yourself.
Yeah.
Like I take my hat off to anybody that does that because you can either sit at home worrying about it or watching somebody else on Instagram do it, or you can go and do it yourself.
100%. Yeah.
So,
But it was funny because Tony, like he's the polar opposite to me. Obviously now I'm on this podcast and I'm what we're on now, the 8th night show. I'm coming out my shell a bit, but when you first meet me, I'm quite shy, quite quiet. Tony's the opposite. He's just like a salesman. He's always talking, and I had to go to China with him, like just me and him. And I wasn't looking forward to it at all. But then we went together, and I didn't stop laughing the whole trip. And he's a great guy. We got on really well. And it's just been like a really nice opportunity that's come from me messing about on social media.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I feel lucky, really, and I'm really proud of the bags. I'm so happy people like them. I love getting messages when people have bought one and they like it. And I think they like it because, like with the Vito bags are good bags, well made, but they're not. Maybe they're made by bag designers. Maybe originally the first guy made it
Not
was
made
he was
by
a
people who
carpenter.
use them every day.
But I know what I want from a bag, and my first bag especially was designed as if I was making it for me.
Yeah.
Now I've like evolved because I'm on my 5th bag. I'm thinking
Now you've
what
sold
other
out,
people
Pete.
want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that. It's, I would never wear a bag as a backpack.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
my latest bag, you can wear it as a backpack because I know
Yeah.
some guys like it to.
Yeah.
So I've not designed it just for me. I've designed it and for other people. I've tried to think of everything.
Yeah.
But the thing you have to be careful of is you can throw things at a bag. Like
Yeah.
I want my soldering bag. I want a pipe slice dock. I want
Yeah.
a wet rag tub. I want fire extinguisher in it. I want a pocket for this, pocket for that.
Expensive.
And Tony's like, every time you add something on, the price goes up. So
Right.
you have to strip things back, and you can't have everything on it you want because then it would be too expensive.
Yeah.
So it's tricky, but I feel like it's gone really well.
Do you believe that you've got the best bag on the market?
Do I believe? Well, when
The answer
we
should be yes.
It should be yes.
I don't
believe
want
it's the
to.
best.
I don't
Let's
want
not beat around the bush.
I
It's
don't-
interesting.
My thing, if somebody asked me about a product, I'd be like, 95% of the time, yes.
Yeah.
But 5% of the time, could I do better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing's perfect, but I don't want to. I don't want to feel like I'm being like.
You don't blow your.
No,
He don't
it's
blow his
not.
own trumpet.
I believe in
It's
the
not,
bags,
yeah.
and the feedback I get, I've not had much negative feedback. So I do think they are because I've designed them.
For like the stuff for the plumbers, like the one with the pipe slice on.
Yeah, the soldering
because
bags.
it's-
There's
that
nothing
is-
else like
that
it
is-
out there.
Essentially, it's a step up from Vito.
Vito make a good bag. Like you can't.
I know, they're
you can't
obviously
knock them,
super
but
popular, right?
in terms
They
of
make a good bag. They're really well made. They're not. For me, like so I was saying to you before, they're vertical storage and they're good for that. But when you've got pipe slices, tubs of
Yeah.
paste,
Yeah.
tubs of flux, they're not really designed for stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like for my trade, especially, my
Yeah.
bags are superior.
Yeah,
But
but the reason why that's impressive to me is probably a lot of people probably think, oh, the only reason Pete's bag's done well is because he had a big following. Maybe some people may think that the only reason they
has
took off.
to be a mix of both. Has to be a mix of both.
But
Following
but
and
clearly, it's a hell of a lot more than that because obviously the bags that you made were exceptional.
yeah,
So you know that's just like you said that you slowed down doing other things, but you're similar to everyone here on this table where you just don't stop,
yeah.
just in other areas. I think.
Oh no, he never sleeps because I message you at
Yeah, exactly.
3 in the morning.
I want to know why you
Have I
messaged
not
each other at
messaged
3
you?
in the
Have I
morning.
not- I haven't messaged you earlier in the morning.
Send me some pictures, but
Are you awake yet? So many people that come on here and they're like, you messaged me at 4 in the morning. I'm like, actually, I might have a slight problem here.
yeah. No, don't
Right,
start
should
that,
we
mate.
look at the lap times?
Lap times, you reckon? Should we go for 'em?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I don't think we're breaking any records according to you two tonight. Are we?
No,
breaking
I
any-
reckon I had one good lap, didn't I? Done
Right.
one.
Just for everybody listening,
I was doing all right before
listening
I
on.
got distracted.
Were you doing all right?
Yeah, you distracted me.
Well, you're flying lap.
Yeah, flying
I
lap.
reckon I've whipped
I'll
your
tell you-
arse on this.
Right, okay. But look up there on the board, and Dave from Nipex, who's 5th or 4th up there. Basically, Dave, I was dressed as Pamela Anderson with a wig and 2 blow-up tits, and then jiggling them through the window. So he still managed to get a 101.287. So well done, Dave.
Yeah, that's
I'll
good.
shout you out.
Yeah, impressive.
So I'll lean into the back pocket. Everybody listening on Spotify, just in case, we're doing our normal segment of fastest laps around the Bahrain circuit on the F1 2020 version, is it, Jack? We haven't got the 2021 because we're cheap and too tight. So we'll go first, and this is... Woo, Mr. Ryan SQ2.
Where are we at?
SQ2, Big Rye.
Big Rye.
Ready?
Yeah.
You did the lap in 1. Imagine if I said 2 there. Oh, shit, am I? 0. 0.
Yes. Good.
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 Is this actually correct?
I smashed that last one.
0, 0, 0.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I knew it.
Well done.
Yeah.
So we are Top of the league. See you. Top of the league.
1 minute, bang on.
Bang on.
Get
Uno.
in.
Memento. I thought you said you were crap.
And I don't like cars. I hate cars. Yeah.
Oh, come on, get him on top.
Can I put that out? Oh, Peach did.
It's like that.
I was going to hold it above my head. Yeah. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Bloody hell, mate. That
to move Will down.
Yeah. Let's see if Jack Plevin, who killed a steward in this one. So Jack did his lap. I talked to him and said, "Oh, is this how you drive the van?" And then he literally killed a steward. So
I don't think I'm going to beat you, Ryan.
You reckon you're going to beat me? Nah.
we'll put. Is it Pete or is it?
Yeah, he's got it right.
That's an interesting thing to talk about as well, being competitive. That's essential.
Yeah.
You have to compete.
You have to
against-
be hungry.
You always have to.
Fact, I put power. And we've got Jack Plevin from Plevin Power, and you did it in a 1.
There's no 0, 0, 0, 0.
0 4
Lucky.
403. You still beat PB Plumber though. Hey! And Andy Cam. Bearing in mind, Andy Cam was absolutely annihilated the night before.
That doesn't surprise me.
So it's a 104 403.
There we go.
So just behind Jack from Big Wipes, or James as he was known for the whole show.
Who would have known?
I don't think that's bad for someone who hasn't played a PlayStation. For 6 or
So-
7
Yeah,
years.
exactly.
What are we going to do? Are we going to do the darts? Should we go to the darts?
Yeah, we're going to the darts.
For this week's Trade Legends episode, we have a fantastic giveaway from Unilight, including a waterproof hard case, an SLR 1000 and a mini tripod. And as always, a crate of Trade Legends beers. For our main prize, a £250 voucher from Power Tool Mate Prizes. To find out how you can win all of these prizes and for full details, head on over to our website www.tradelegends.uk.
First up to the hockey is Jumping Jack, aka Plevin Power.
Because I'm so
Good luck, Jack.
Aye. The Liverpool Lush. There he comes. He's going to be throwing
Jack the Power.
Jack the Power Plevin. Up he gets. Dun, 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 dun.
Ooh. There we
Oh,
go.
he's done. What's the scores on the doors, please, Carol? Please provide them to our lovely and trusty assistant, old Jack Arias, over there.
See, I grew
Next
up in a
up
pub,
is,
so I should be pretty good at this. It's been a while, man.
high scores.
as he's known, Rapid Rye.
There we go.
Oi, oi, Rapid Rye! Here he comes. Oh. Oh.
Might need a calculator.
A load of triples.
Rapid Rye.
Man of many talents.
Give him a try, Rapid Rye. Aye.
Are you doing the math there, Pete? Yeah. That's good.
Don't
That's what I
talk, don't
used to
talk
say
to him
there.
round about now because he'll flip his shit.
Yeah. Forgot.
That's 52, Pete.
Last one, he popped that last one out as he was adding the final
So
sum.
he's like, look at that.
Cool.
7:45. No, we ain't got time for you to have a go.
Bullseye.
He always
Oh!
He's been down the Swan and Pheasant.
Yeah, he has.
I reckon you're secretly having a little dartboard at home, Ida.
I have got a dartboard in my workshop.
When he's lying in bed and he just
Yeah.
before he goes to sleep.
When I used to get to my granddad's, because our yard was at my grand and granddad's house, and he had all his gear for plumbing, but then he'd have like a target, and he'd have an air rifle, and he'd have a dartboard, all cool stuff like that. So whenever I used to go around,
you'd spend hours throwing darts.
Yeah, it's
Now
just a
he
cool
bloody
place
tells
to-
me the mother.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just a cool place.
I
To
just thought I was
didn't he?
shit.
Yeah.
And he used to get me a Christmas present. It would be something like one year it was a pool cue,
Yeah.
or it was an air rifle, or something really cool, like rather than just toys. So, yeah.
Something that now you can use later in life, Pete. I love that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, back to the guests. Final thought, the Jerry Springer style
Yeah.
final thought.
So to people watching this, we've spoke a lot about like motivation to actually do something more than just your regular job. Have you got anything you want to say to people to maybe inspire them, or you can just plug your
Or you can just
social
plug
channel?
Plevin Power and be like,
I
if you
don't want to plug it. I think
if you want a 24/7 backup, what is it? To our customers, we are the 5th emergency service. We are backup generator power 24/7, 365.
I don't want to plug, but what I would say, if there's anybody out there who fancies having a go, is having a go, or is working towards starting something special, just have some faith in yourself.
I thought you were going to do a recruitment pitch then. I was like, anybody needs a job.
Just believe in what it is you're doing and trust the process.
That's good advice. What about you then, Rye?
What's my advice?
The Dalai Lama.
Yeah. My advice is no one's perfect. None of us are. Most of us are actually quite incompetent, to tell you the truth. So go for it, and you are going to fail, but just... What? The tapping? I'm sorry. I'm passionate about it. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap.
Tap, tap, taparoo. Taparoo.
I'm getting closer to the point, that's all. No,
See, I like it when somebody taps because it means
yeah,
they mean
yeah.
it.
I've got a load of fire. I need to get it out. No, yeah. No one's as good as you think they are. All right, everyone's a chancer at whatever they're doing. Please don't think that anyone's got life now, because they haven't. Just don't stop. All right, there's going to be stumbles along the way. Doesn't matter. Get over it. On to the next thing. On to the next thing. Don't stop. Don't sleep. Keep going until you get what you want.
And on that, just remember, guys, if you're seeing on Instagram, especially, really nice, polished, perfect work,
Bullshit.
people show you what they want you to see. They don't show you everything. So don't believe everything you see in a picture.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think Instagram, that's one of the main problems of Instagram, in it is some people
It's
see
great for certain things,
it
but
looks
then
absolutely amazing, and then behind the scenes,
like I think all my mates just said to me recently, "Didn't you go on holiday?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, we didn't see you post." Like, I don't have to post it.
for
Like, if it's my
gratification.
personal, I don't, like if it's work, I do. Do you know what I mean? And some of them couldn't understand that. Oh, God, I thought you would have posted some pictures.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
for your holiday.
Yeah.
But people only generally post stuff. Like you remember the picture I sent to you about the chessboard
Yeah.
when I was on holiday? That's the only thing I posted on my Instagram. People are like, "You're playing chess on holiday?" I was like,
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
That's why I like the accounts that do show when they do something wrong. They do show when they make mistakes. Because, yeah, guys, it's not all real.
Yeah, we make mistakes every day.
Everyone does.
Every single day. We're all...
I do. Thank God I don't have to show them like you guys.
Yeah.
I
but
enjoy it though. It's
Yeah.
like part of it's part of it,
Yeah.
and it's part of the process. Like my truck broke down 2 weeks ago, and it was the most expensive 8 hours of my life. But you know, unless you,
The
I
big
never,
vein
and
in
then
the
when I didn't
forehead.
look at it when I bought it and think when that breaks down, it's going to cost a fortune to recover
Yeah, exactly.
it. That's just part and parcel of what you do,
Yeah.
Every day is different, isn't it?
It's how you overcome it, which is important.
and how you manage it as
Yeah.
well. I think.
All right, cheers, guys. Great show. Thanks.
Cheers, guys. Great show. Where's my steak?
I'm starving.
I knew he's like that. I can see him. Like,
Is it Miller and Carter again?
it's Miller and Carter, yes. Just so you can go and have a fucking blue piece of flesh.
Yes. Blue fillet.
Beasley Workwear now proudly sponsors Trade Legends.